for the photos, guys. Really appreciate that. Now I'm going to take you guys up to Hatfield, Pennsylvania. Here we go. Really cool video footage. Check this out. What is this thing that was spotted in the photos, guys? Not only above Hatfield, now I'm going to take you guys Santiago. Up to Hatfield, Pennsylvania. Here we go. Really cool video footage. Check this out. What is this thing that was spotted in the photos, guys? Not only above Hatfield, now I'm going to take you guys Santiago. Up to Hatfield, Pennsylvania. Here we go. Really cool video footage. Check this out. What is this thing that was spotted in the photos, guys? Not only above Hatfield, I'm going to take you guys Santiago. Hatfield, Pennsylvania. Here we go. Really cool video footage. Check this out. What is this thing that was spotted in the photos, guys? Not only above Hatfield, I'm going to take you guys Santiago. Hatfield, Pennsylvania. Go Charles, 611 24, 8:30 p.m. Looking to the east northeast. Get a load of that thing, would you? And it's pretty decent size, not making any sound, doesn't have any blinking lights, not a typical airplane, obviously not a helicopter. It's way too quiet. Almost has what look like fluorescent lights on this thing that looks to be about the size of possibly a small to medium-sized aircraft, which I would think would be way too big to put it in a drone category. So that was the original vertical video. Here I zoom in to give you guys a better look. Check it out. You ever seen anything like that? You've got what looks like neon pink, neon green, neon blue, neon yellow. And this thing, again, is pretty decent size. And I'm talking somewhere in the 10 to maybe 20-foot range. It's not necessarily small like a drone. Sometimes drones are just a few inches wide, up to maybe a couple of.
Chaasadyah, can you hear and see?
Con, you good, better now.
Con.
Feet wide. This thing's big and it's not making any sound. And like a video we saw yesterday where there was this object spotted from Fort Lauderdale, Florida that made a big sweeping move through the sky, so did this thing here. You can see it came in from the left and made a sweeping maneuver across the sky towards the right and then back towards the direction it came from. Very cool video footage out of Hatfield, Pennsylvania. Once again, sent in by Charles. Now, 5,000 miles away in the southern hemisphere, Santiago, Chile. Here we go. And you're going to be able to hear my voice in the background of Marjorie's video that she was taking of this mysterious object in the nighttime sky. Check this out. Looks like the same object or something very similar to what Charles just saw in Pennsylvania. Here we go. You hear the dogs barking at it. Hear me talking in a video in the background.
Are you having trouble trying to keep up with?
Oh, okay, that's enough of that. All right, Chaasadyah. While while I maneuver to my next videos. All right, first and foremost, of course, let's give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem HaMashiach, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being the name of his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. Chaasadyah. So I'm gonna go over current events, what's going on for the past couple days, a week really at the most.
And all
A lot of things are taking place, and let's talk about it. Okay. One thing I seem to have put 2 live streams up, trying to bring down the other one. So if you could bear with me, and while I do that, and we can begin. A very busy week. A lot of things taking place, a lot of things going on. So we are going to talk about it. I don't see how I can bring this other video down. Just give me 1 minute. All right, I'm just going to have to bear. Okay, here it is. All right. Now we can begin. Okay. Sorry for a delay trying to get attempting to get these this live stream down packed. Normally I don't use live stream, but well, there's a new day. Okay. Now, like I was saying, all praise to the Most High. A lot of stuff's going on. Amazing time to be alive. I pray all is well with you wherever you're at throughout the 4 corners of the earth. If you're in Babylon watching it collapse in real time, I want you to enjoy it, not to worry too much about what's going on. Oh no, the whole system's collapsing. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it is written that this will happen. So enjoy it, embrace it, praise the Most High. You know what I'm saying? This is the land of your captivity, the place where your ancestors had to work from sun up to sundown. And now you have Russian nuclear submarines off the coast of Florida. You have warships 100 miles away from the United States, Russian warships, most likely with nuclear bombs on them. And not just any nuclear bombs. We're talking about hypersonic nuclear bombs, the type of bombs that nobody has seemed to stop as of yet, and they won't be able to. So while America says that they're going to use their weapons to strike deep inside of Russia, and they say they allow Ukraine to do it, but it's really a war against the United States and Russia. You could say NATO and Russia, but in reality, it's the United States and Russia. And that's why Putin said, okay, you want to play like that? That's what we'll just put our nuclear submarines right outside your shores. And there's really nothing you can do about it because of international water. Cuba allowed them in. If they want to go over to Venezuela, they can do that as well. And when are they going to leave? That's one question. They're saying they're just doing drills and things of that nature, but they don't ever have to leave. Okay. So let's get started with some of these current events, these prophetic things that are happening throughout the four corners of the earth. All right. Dietrich, are you available to read tonight?
Con, I'm just pulling up. If you give me about 8 minutes, I'll be good.
Con. All right. 8 minutes. I like that. I like that number too. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with some amazing stories happening. Okay. Esau's in a lot of pain. He's in a lot of trouble. He has no idea what's going on. He's confused. He's scared. And, we're going to talk about that and laugh about it. Okay. I know you're saying some people are like, why would you laugh? You're not supposed to laugh at, why not? Who told you that? Now, we're not supposed to laugh at each other. Like, if each other fall, something happens, then you really don't want to laugh. Let's start with that. All right, let's everybody go to Proverbs. I believe it's the 24th chapter. I believe it's the 17th verse. Let me double check that. Yeah, Proverbs chapter 24 and 17. All right, when everybody has it, please say Khan. This thing on. All right, Khan. Proverbs chapter 24, verse 17. Rejoice not when thy enemy falleth, and let not thine heart be glad when he stumbleth. Verse 18. Lest the Lord see it, and it displease him, and he turn away his wrath from him. So laughing at your fellow Israelite when he or she gets judged is a dangerous thing, because the Most High is going to look at, turn away from them. Look, well, what you laughing at? And we don't want that, okay?
Hey, Nate.
Fear of the Most High.
That guy need to get him a
Mute your phone. Fear of the Most High is the beginning of all knowledge. So in order to gain knowledge, you have to have a real healthy fear of the Most High, because he's the one that takes care of business. He's the one that will avenge us of our enemies, and he can also destroy us. Okay, so let's be smart about that. But let's also realize that laughing at our enemies is nothing wrong with that. Let's go to Job chapter 4 and verse 22. Now we want to make sure that we're writing down these scriptures, building ourselves up in the spirit, and knowing the time period that we're living in. Okay, so this is the book of Job, chapter 5 and verse 22. When everybody has it, say Khan. Khan. All right, this is the book of Job, chapter 5 and verse 22. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beast of the earth. So destruction and famine, when things are happening to our enemies, it's a judgment. It's the judgment of the Most High. It's a beautiful thing, because we should be praying that our enemies get destroyed, because they've destroyed us for centuries. Okay. And our ticket into salvation is the Most High destroying these people that are in power and then putting us in power, almost like a seesaw. Okay. So we're going to go through some amazing stories that the Most High has allowed us to see in about a week's time. Who knows what's going to happen next week, but we're going to get into the current events and the prophecies that are occurring throughout the four corners of the earth. So while we get the video queued up, let's get the book of Proverbs, chapter 18 and verse 21.
Chaasadyah, I'm good now, King.
Khan, all praises. Shalom. All right. So we're going to start with that mouth. That mouth is vicious. That little tongue is a small member, but I mean, it can get you in a lot of trouble. Okay. And as you can see through this next video, it got Esau in a whole lot of trouble. 6 feet deep type trouble. Dirt and worms type trouble. He ain't even here no more. Okay. So let's get Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 21.
Oh, when anybody has it, say Con. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
Con, death and life is in the power of the tongue. Okay. You can put life in the things with with the words that you bring out of your mouth, or you can bring death upon yourself. All right. Speak life, speak death. It's up to you. There's choices, there's balances. You know what I mean? The Most High always has options. Okay. Um, so when you speak life, okay? Unless we're talking about the enemies, okay? And then throw up some curses. You know what I mean? Pray to the Most High that he continues on his rampage of destruction of the so-called white man and other nations. Okay. And before we start, Fair Use Act, Fair Use Act. This video, this lesson is protected by Fair Use Act because it's a teaching moment. Okay. So we don't have to worry about copyright infringement, so forth and so on, because I said Fair Use Act about 3 or 4 times. Now let's go to Proverbs. Let's stay in Proverbs 18 and let's go down to verse 6.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 6. A fool's lip enter into contention, and his mouth calleth for strokes.
All right, so let's watch this video. What went on in town of Pennsylvania?
ongoing neighborhood dispute in Montgomery County turns deadly. Tonight, a local barber is in jail. This is the 10 o'clock news. I'm Sheba Russell. The alleged gunman is now facing murder charges, accused of killing the man who lives above his shop. Our Greg Payne starts us off tonight.
It was very shocking. Yeah, it really took me off guard.
Police say just before 6 p.m. Saturday, they responded to a shooting that occurred in the parking lot near Razor Reese's Salon and Spa and right next to Jay McCollum's piercing shop.
I heard what I thought were firecrackers. Of course, now I know those were gunshots. So I went to look out the window and I just saw somebody going from standing up to falling down backwards.
Police say when they...
All right, let's get Job chapter 18, verse 5 on deck. He went from standing up to falling down backwards. Let's keep going.
arrived, they found 37-year-old Stephen Strasburg of Hatboro suffering from multiple gunshot wounds in the parking lot. And still on scene, the suspected shooter, 41-year-old Maurice Bird of Horsham, the owner of Razor Reese's Salon and Spa.
I saw Maurice over there, and he said that he was on the phone with the police. And so I just didn't really know what to do at the time. All I saw was somebody who was bleeding really badly. I'm in a piercing shop, so I have things like gauze around the shop. And so I just ran back in as quickly as I could, grabbed a bunch of gauze, went out and just held it on the wound on his face until the paramedics came.
Strasburg was taken to a local hospital where he died. Authorities later learned Strasburg lived above Razor Reese's Salon and Spa and had an ongoing dispute with the owner. According to the criminal complaint, Bird says he was outside the shop smoking a cigarette in the parking lot when he was confronted by Strasburg, who began saying racial slurs toward him. Bird went back into his shop to get his phone and called 911, where he told dispatch he was being verbally assaulted by Strasburg. Bird told detectives right before the shooting, Strasburg grabbed his shirt, While still on the phone, dispatchers heard 5 gunshots, a pause, and then 2 more gunshots. 7 casings were recovered at the scene, along with a semi-automatic handgun registered to Byrd, who has a valid permit to carry. Byrd is currently being held at the Montgomery County Correctional Facility, facing first-degree murder charges, and is awaiting an arraignment. As for those living and working in the usually quiet area, many are still a little shaken up.
Totally unexpected. I mean, nothing like that ever happens around here.
Reporting in Hatboro, I'm Greg Payne, Fox 29 News.
Well, you got to get used to that. You know, it hardly happens around here. You're going to hear that a lot lately. And we have been hearing that a lot lately, like just the most tornadoes we had on record in this time period, you know, things of that nature. Or it's the first time a president has been convicted of a felony. Actually, 34 felonies. Hear that, you know, that just happened. And things are like, this is the first time a sitting president's son has been convicted of a felony. And it's Hunter Biden convicted of, I believe, 3 federal felony charges. So that's Democrat and Republican. So it's things that you just don't hear a lot. Well, that's how the Most High operates. He said in this time period, you're going to be hearing some things that you never heard before. Okay, so let's get Job chapter 18 and verse 5.
This is the book of Job, chapter 18, verse 5. Yea, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine.
Yeah, the light of the wicked shall be put out. And that's what happened. This guy, Stephen Strauss, whatever his name was, right? A neighbor, okay. Reese, he had the Reese razor shop, business owner, probably more likely kept to himself, wasn't bothering anybody, okay, especially in this situation. He said he was out smoking a cigarette. And the guy came out, of course, he shouldn't be smoking cigarettes, Reese, right? But the guy came out, was going to his house, and he just decided to stop and talk to him and call him a dirty nigger. You know what I'm saying? For the algorithms, a dirty N-word repeatedly. And he's like, you know what I'm saying? Can I live? You know, matter of fact, I'm calling 911. So he went to call 911. The guy came in his shop, right? Violated his space to verbally assault him. This is called racial intimidation. You know what I'm saying? Make sure when you guys come on, make sure you have your mute your phone. It's called racial intimidation. Okay. If Biden and his crew would have what is that, the George Floyd, you know, stop killing us act, whatever it's called, if they would have passed that, we really probably wouldn't be here, because you know these murderous Edomites been doing these for centuries. So he ends up coming in the shop, calling him a dirty N again, and he follows him back out like, yo, my man, you all right? Like, what's up with you? So as reading the article, you know, you get more in the article than the video. The guy comes up and grabs him. This is assault. You cannot assault me. You know what I'm saying? If you get within an arm's reach of me in an aggressive manner, that's terroristic threats. I have the right to defend myself. Okay, so he ends up, he's on the phone with 911. The guy assaults him and he shoots him 5 times. All right, so his light got put out. And they end up charging Maurice with, I believe, first-degree murder. Which I see as probably a good thing. You know, shouldn't have charged him at all. First and foremost, shouldn't charge him at all. But being charged with first-degree murder, you have to prove that it was premeditated. That's why they usually if they charge police officers for shooting us down, they'll charge them with first-degree murder, because they know they cannot prove that it was premeditated. Unless he says, I'm going to go out there and shoot me a Negro today, you can't prove it, he gets found not guilty. So an overzealous DA, you know, charged him with this, probably, you know, I'm gonna roof this guy, get him life, yada yada. But you have to prove that this guy premeditatedly wanted to shoot this neighbor. You know what I'm saying? If you wanted to premeditatedly shoot somebody, why would he call the cops? Doesn't make any sense. And with a gun that is registered to you. So this is the time period. He's 41 years old, 80s baby, right? He not going for it. You know what I'm saying? So read a meme somewhere where it says, you know, we're not our ancestors, you know. Jake, when, you know, back against the wall and confronted, he'll shoot another Jake in the face in a heartbeat. Now Esau gets those bullets, 5 to be exact. Dirt and worms, good riddance, Stephen, whatever your last name is. All right, let's continue because it gets a lot deeper than that. All right, let's get the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 60. So, and you see, Esau is going to always look out for Esau. You know what I mean? This guy was verbally assaulting him. I'm pretty sure it wasn't the first time. And I'm pretty sure everybody in the neighborhood knew about it, right? So as this guy gets shot, what is the piercing Edomite do? He goes in and gets some galls. I don't know how he's going to close up those holes. You know what I'm saying? He turned him into holy moly donut shop. It's not enough stitches in the world that could put Humpty Dumpty back together again. But you know, he sees his man's laying on the ground, knows he's a racist scumbag, and he tries to save his life. To no avail, of course, but just keep that in mind. You know what I mean? Always going to back each other. That's just the way it is. All right? And that's why we have to back each other. Okay? Now, if you dead wrong, you dead wrong. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, let the Most High judge. Okay? A lot of 2/3 like to assault, shoot, rob other members of the 12 tribes of Israel, people that look exactly like them. So when they get roofed, that is what it is. All right. Should not go against Yahweh Hashem Yahushai or his chosen people. All right, let's bring that out. First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 60, Baba Gashar.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 60. At which time, according to the commandment that put to death certain women, they had caused their children to be circumcised.
So here are the Edomites killing women that cause their children to, you know, follow the law, circumcision. Go ahead, read verse 61.
61. And they hanged the infants about their necks and rifled their houses and slew them that had circumcised them.
So they're hanging the infants up by their necks, ran up in the houses. Don't get it twisted. Every time you see a so-called race war or Tulsa, Oklahoma, Rosewood, any place where the Edomites come and burn down our houses, right? They always leave out the important thing that they ran up in the houses and stole everything. So they didn't pull themselves up by the bootstraps. They stole what we had before they lit the houses on fire. And that's recent history, right? Jim Crow era. This is back in the times of Alexander and the Alexander the Freak, Alexander the Greek, Slovakia. Okay, so what they do to our infants? Hang the infants up. What the infants do? Did they bother anybody? No, it's just pure wickedness, right? Let's go to Psalm 137 and verse 8. So when you see this next story, you know, just keep that in mind. Okay, kind of building this one up because I don't want anybody, any Israelite to be like, oh, that's so terrible. Oh my gosh. You got to understand that these things are going to happen and they're going to continue to happen. Why? Because God said they were going to happen. Okay.
Salakia.
Khan. Go ahead.
What was the verse again?
Psalm 137 and verse 8. Matter of fact, start verse 7, Bubba Shaw, for context. Yeah, we're going to talk about what you did to our children. Go ahead. You got it?
Want to bring it out now?
Con.
Okay, come on. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 137, beginning at verse 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Eden in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof.
Saying destroy it, even to the foundation of it. They want us out of here. Go ahead, read verse 8.
O daughter of Babylon.
Chaasadyah, O daughter of Babylon. Okay, so this is the daughter of Babylon we're talking about. Go ahead.
Who art to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us.
God, so that's called get back. Happy shall thou be that rewarded thee as thou served us. Things you did to us, it's going to be a beautiful day to get some get back. Okay, can you read verse 9? Let's see what some of that
Most
get back
definitely. Most definitely. It's the best part here.
God.
Salah. Happy shall he be that taketh and dashes thy little ones against the stones.
Happy shall he be that taketh and dashes the little ones against the stone. That's in the Bible. Never read any Christian church I've been to, but that's the reality. So with that in mind, let's watch the next video and see what happened to the little Edomite one day in Ohio.
The American dream doesn't require.
Chaasadyah. We're not gonna. Here we go with commercials. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this one, because this is what's going to happen, and it's happening.
Farewell to little Julian Wood.
A 3-year-old child didn't even get a chance yet.
Grief came dressed in green.
That 3-year-old child didn't get a chance yet. It almost reminds me of gator bait, when they used to snatch our children from their house, go down to the swamp down in Florida, put them in a cage to attract the gators, and then they would kill the gators. But of course, they could have used anything. They could have used a hog, a wild hog, or any type of animal out there. But this was what they chose to use, our children. Okay, as gator bait. And not only did they do that, they made postcards and sent them around the country to each other. So let's continue.
Green, the color he loved best. It came with dinosaurs, his favorite, in a heartbreaking and emotional tribute.
This is just devastating to let a family go through this alone. So just being present, hopefully, gives them a little comfort that we're all here for them.
This huge outpouring of support and love, all for a tiny, innocent little boy.
We're 100% behind you, and you never have to be alone ever again.
The community making a solemn promise to never forget Julian Wood. Good evening. I'm Caitlin McCarthy. The image of the coffin coming out of the church, almost unbearable. But for Julian's family, struggling under the weight of their grief over his senseless, random murder, the one thing giving them the strength to get through it was a sight of all the people lining the streets, many of them strangers. But Gideon was outside the church on this emotional day.
The community turned out, lining Ridge Road in Parma outside St. Charles Borromeo down to Snow Road on the way to North Olmsted. Why is it important that you're here today?
Because I think it's important for everyone to support the family with our love and our thoughts and show our support. So I wanted to be here today.
Why are you out here today?
Just to show support for the family. You know, it's just horrible that something happens like this. A 3-year-old child didn't even get a chance yet. Just terrible.
Parents bringing their children out of Saturday morning, but the support started earlier. Ribbons on trees outside St. Charles, put up by neighbors who didn't even know the family. You put the ribbons up yesterday?
Yes, we did. My Pam, my neighbor, and my other neighbor, Michelle Ketchum, came, and we put all the ribbons up just to show support
It's a terrible job, though. You know what I mean? Those ribbons look like a 4-year-old could have put them up, but let's continue.
For the family. It's devastating. I can't even imagine.
During the funeral mass, the procession route became even more populated with people showing up, wearing green and carrying dinosaurs.
It's just, I saw on Facebook that was his favorite thing was dinosaurs. So it's just important to be here to show that the family has support in the community.
It's wonderful that they're doing, all the way to Sunset Memorial.
From tragedy that ripped apart a family to an outpouring of support that brought a community together.
There's a lot
It's gotta change.
of people in the world, but there's so much more love.
Yes.
Outweighs it.
Vic Gideon, 19 News.
The community holding the family close all the way to the cemetery where little Julian was laid to rest. People all along the procession route letting the little boy who loved dinosaurs hear them roar. Here's Colton Molesky.
Today, 3-year-old Julian Wood was buried at Sunset Memorial Park. But the family didn't bury him alone. Not only was the procession of dozens of cars following the family into the park, but so many people lined the procession route trying to give and show their support to the family.
It just makes me think about my kid. I don't know how I would even, it's unbearable. It's a pain, and it just offer my condolences to Julian's family. It's really sad.
Being part of North Olmsted all my life, we just support each other. And I thought that this would help to ease a little bit of the pain and suffering that she's going through, even though dinosaurs and balloons aren't going to do it, but just knowing that she has our support for the whole family.
And any way we can show support to give them a little strength to get through this is nothing to, it's something everyone should do.
We all love you. We're here for you. We're 100% behind you, and you never have to be alone ever again.
You know, several mothers noted to me that they grocery shop with their kids at that Giant Eagle all the time. And if something like this happened to their family, they'd want the community to show up for them. And that's why they felt it was so important for the community to show up for this family, because it could have happened to anyone. And they want to make sure the family knows they're not going through it alone. In North Olmsted, Colton Molesky, 19 News.
And the Wood.
All right. So now let's get to what happened. You know what I mean? The mother was coming out the grocery store with her children, and a woman came up and just stabbed the child in the neck. Never seen her before, never met before, totally random. But as we understand, nothing's really random. Nothing's really a coincidence. Okay. The Most High said he would do this. And, what Esau is going to find out in the very near future is that more of these things are going to happen. And nobody's telling these people to do any of these things. This is the spirit that the Most High puts on them. And you're going to see this woman's face, and you're going to understand what I mean when I say that. Okay, let's go to Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 21. Classic. Okay. This kind of fits the mold. So the Most High is putting the spirit on Jake, on Eve, right? Because Eve was the one with this knife to cast down vengeance on the Edomites. Okay. So let's bring that out. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 21.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 21. When all have a say, the con. Verse 20. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities.
So that's what we call slaughter. When you get stabbed in the neck, that's a slaughter, okay? For his children, and literally children in this instance, for the iniquity of their fathers. So the things that the so-called white man have done in the past. People living on the earth today, the Edomites living on the earth today, are going to have to pay for it. And there's nothing they can do about it. You know what I mean? You know, a lot of them are proud, so they're going to have to find out the hard way. You know, there's going to be a point in time where, you know, where the Israelites left out with great substance in ancient Egypt, it's going to happen again because they're going to say, I don't want that to happen to my 3-year-old. You know, what do you want? My bank account, my car, my house, the deed to my house. What do you want? You know? And we're going to say, we'll take all of it. Of course, you know, deed to the house and everything, that's going to be burned up. So how about some gold? Where's that gold that you got? You know, and that's silver. You know, all those things. Send me about all your Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Stuff like that, right? But and that's not going to guarantee anything. You know what I'm saying? Maybe slavery, but you know, reading these scriptures, they're destined to be destroyed. The fear is going to be, you're going to cut it, it's going to be thick as a knife. I mean, it's going to be so thick you can cut it with a knife. Salakia. All right, here we verse 22.
Verse 22. For I will rise up against them, says the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, says the Lord.
So all, you know, they're not going to make it. You know what I'm saying? Son, nephew, that whole family, it's going to get destroyed. You know, like I said in verse 21, prepare slaughter. When we really understand what's going on, that's when, you know, that fear of the Most High should definitely kick in, because I know nobody out there on the Israelite side wants anything like that to happen to their children. So what do? You follow the law, statutes, commandments written in the scriptures. He says wear fringes, put on some fringes. He says it's the first fruits in the gather, go gather. If he says stop eating that pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, all them bottom feeders, throw it away yesterday. All right. Says keep a beard, wear a beard. He tells women dress modestly, wear modest apparel, put on a skirt, sis, put on some fringes. And then one of the biggest problems, stop backbiting each other, stop talking about each other, treat your neighbor as yourself. You don't want nobody to treat you like that. So why would you treat anybody else like that? Vengeance is the Most High's. You got a problem with that, he'll take it up. Other than that, move on. Live life. Enjoy the prophecies. Fear God and keep the commandments. Because who wants a judgment like that? That's destined for the Edomites and the 2/3. Now, since we don't know who the 2/3 are, it could be any one of us. So how about we just stop the nonsense and begin to act accordingly, like the priests of the Most High, like daughters of Zion. Okay? Now, let's get the, now, a matter of fact, let's keep going. We're going to get to what this woman was doing in court. All right, let's go to Isaiah 13, verse 16. And the Most High lets you know, yeah, I did that.
This book was this is the book of Isaiah. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 16.
No,
chapter 13, verse 16. Correct? Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes.
Ugh.
Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished.
So their children shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. So literally walking out of the grocery store, which everyone has done with their child at one point in time, there's nothing she could do about it. You know what I mean? Literally holding the child's hand and head almost got severed off. I'm assuming, you know what I mean? But the child didn't make it. So that's what's going to happen. And that's what's actually happening now, because we're watching the video on it. It's happening in Ohio not too long ago. Okay, but now she was arraigned and brought to court, and we're going to watch her reactions, and it's about 3 minutes long, and what she was doing. Okay, and we got scriptures for that as well. Let's go to Baruch. Let's go to Baruch. Take a step into the Apocrypha. Baruch, the 4th chapter, and we can start at the 30th verse. We got it. Bring it out.
This is the book of Baruch, chapter 4, beginning at verse 30. Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will confront thee, will comfort thee.
He's going to comfort. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's go to verse 31.
31. Miserable are the cities which the children serve, Slaki, which thy children serve.
Oh, the 31, Slakia.
Oh, Slaki. Verse 31. Miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoice at thy fall.
They're going to be miserable. Miserable are they that afflicted thee and rejoiced at thy fall. Because, Trayvon Martin, right? Gets shot down. He's going to the store, getting some Skittles and an Arizona iced tea. Oh, he had a hoodie on. He's a thug. Oh, look at him putting his middle finger. He's a thug. Somehow he deserved that, right? George Floyd, they said he had a counterfeit bill, which is federal, the local law enforcement shows up for that. You know what I mean? Should just took the bill and let him go, but they call the cops, and then he gets a knee on his neck for 9 minutes. And they had insult to injury. What did they say? Oh, it was the fentanyl in his system that killed him, not a man's knee on his neck for 9 minutes. Rejoicing at our fall every time it happens. Michael Brown shot down in the middle of the street and left there in a hot summer day for hours. The police even made a song about him. Bad, bad Michael Brown, the baddest man in the whole damn town. And they played it. And they're dancing, they had their beer, and they were having a good time. They rejoice at our fall. Well, now the shoe's going on the other foot. Okay, let's read verse 32.
Verse 32. Miserable are the cities which thy children serve. Miserable is she that received thy sons.
Tamir Rice, I believe he was from Ohio, right? The other brother, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, that was in Walmart, had a Walmart air pistol. The cops ran in, didn't say nothing to him, just shot him down. I believe that was in Ohio. In Ohio, it was also a couple. It was like a high-speed chase or something like that. So they chased this couple. I'm not sure what they did. Probably didn't use a turn signal, something simple, right? And they unloaded about 100-some shots in that car. The cop even got on the hood and unloaded into the car. And that happened a few times in Ohio. Ohio is known, the police is known for overkill. Okay, so now the entire state of Ohio is mourning the death of this 3-year-old. They're miserable. Okay, let's go to verse 33.
33. For as she rejoiced at thy ruin and was glad of thy fall, so shall she be grieved for her own desolation.
It's a lot of evil in this world, but there's more than love. There's a lot of evil, and the other woman's like, yeah, it's us. We're the evil ones. You know what I mean? But, fronting for the camera. You know what I mean? Faking it for the gram. Trying to act like so innocent. That's like Trump territory. We're going to make America great again, which really means we're going to make America white again. And, the Most High, even though they have their plans, the Most High has the final say in all this. So they can build up all their concentration camps, their gallows, right? Like Aman did with Mordecai. They can do all that, but the Most High is the one that has the final say whether it goes through or not. Okay, and right now he's chopping these people down left and right. Go ahead, read verse 34.
34. For I would take away the rejoicing of her great multitude, and her pride shall be turned into mourning.
Huh? All that pride, you know what I mean? Hey, it's Pride Month actually too, right? And it's be turned into mourning, and now they have dozens of cars following the procession. You know, everybody lining the streets with dinosaurs. You know, all that pride now it turns into mourning. All right, can we read verse 35? Oh, Salakia, that's good. Okay. Now let's look at the video. Yeah, they're in mourning now. So let's look at the video. It's sad. It is, you know, the tears are flowing. Is she remorseful? That's the main question. I mean, can she be, rehabilitated, reinvigorated, reassimilated? Can she do that?
I'm asking for
Oh,
every
my
pro-Trump
goodness.
patriot watching this video
Look at
to
him.
click the link below.
Needs $1. Give me $1. I'm in trouble. 34 felonies. Daggone criminals ruining this country. All right, let's go. She's like, don't touch me.
Hello, Ms. L. Do you have an attorney? You do? Do you have the money or means to hire an attorney? Have you received your indictment? Okay, have you read it? You have not read it, okay? We have a copy here. You can read it. You don't want to read it. Are you willing to accept that the public defender has read it to you? I'm sorry. You asked her not to. Well, but she did read it to you, correct? She didn't read it to you. Okay, well, we can read it in open court. Okay. The 10-count indictment.
Let's see, 10-count indictment. Let's get Ezekiel 35 and 11 on deck. Okay. Ezekiel 35 and 11.
Count 1 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did purposely and with prior calculation and design cause the death of JW 10/29/2020. The state of Ohio reserves the right to seek a superseding indictment containing the appropriate 2929.04A aggravating circumstances specifications. And so you understand that means the state is reserving its right to add a death penalty specification. Count 2 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, that the defendant did purposely cause the death of JW 10/29/2020. Count 3 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did cause the death of JW, date of birth 10/29/2020, as a proximate result of the offender committing or attempting to commit an offense of violence that is a felony of the first or second degree, to wit, felonious assault, Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.11A1, and or endangering children in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2919.22B2. Count 4 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did knowingly cause serious physical harm to.
She is cheesing. Yeah. Yeah, let's bring that out. Let's bring that out. Ezekiel 35, verse 11. We're going to pause right there. You go right ahead, King.
God, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35, beginning at verse 11. Therefore, as I live, says the Lord God, I will even do according to thine anger, and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them. And I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee.
He said he's going to make himself known when he's judging. Okay, let's go to Psalm chapter 2 and verse 4. Most High, like, yep, sent that death angel out. And this, she said it's not the first time she killed. She said she killed a woman in California not too long ago. All right. Let's see. Let's see what the Most High has to say in times like this, in times of mourning of the Edomites. What's the Most High got to say? Go ahead, you bring that out. Psalm chapter 2, verse 4.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 2, verse 4. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh.
What's the Most High doing?
Sitting in the heavens and laugh.
Go ahead.
The Lord shall have them in derision.
Yeah, the Most High, it's morning, and she is cracking up in the courtroom. And this is viral. You know what I'm saying? So they cannot see it. You know what I mean? It just kind of trumps the dinosaurs, and it was green, and everybody was there, and those dozens of cars in the procession. So this got trumped by her cracking up in court. Go ahead, can you read verse 5?
Verse 5. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in his sore displeasure.
So that's the Most High speaking in his wrath. A couple more seconds to this, and we'll move on. But yeah, this is what did Eddie Murphy say? Coming to America, coming to an American town near you.
JW on date of birth 10/29/2020. Count 5 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did torture or cruelly abuse JW, date of birth 10/29/2020, a child under 18 years of age. And furthermore, the violation resulted in serious physical harm to JW, date of birth 10/29.
Okay, we could. That's enough. If you want to watch the rest of that, you surely can. I know a lot of Israelites like, that is not right. That is mean. That is the will of the Most High. That is the wrath of God. That's why we follow these laws, statutes, commandments. You don't want to run into nobody like that. You understand? Okay. Let's continue. It's not, they can't just end the class on that. There's a lot more. And, we will literally be here all night to go through all the things that have occurred throughout just the week. Okay. So it's a lot of judgment going on. So it's best to stay focused in all this. Speaking of judgment and seeing the light, what Shana Paul say? Just give me the light. Let's see what happened in Mississippi. Every Edomite that I see in Mississippi, I just assume that they were at one point in time at a picnic. Slocky, what happened here? My bad. I'm assuming that that they were at least 4 lynchings in their lifetime. So when something happens to an Edomite in Mississippi, it's like, hey man, things happen.
We are learning more tonight about.
Ooh, look at that. She got beat with the ugly stick. She actually got beat with a light. I wonder if she saw the light. All right. Let's get Job. Hold on, Slocky. I'm in the wrong section. My bad. Let's get Psalm chapter 3 and verse 7. Okay, let's get that on deck. Psalm chapter 3 and verse 7.
About the officer-involved shooting Saturday in Alcorn County, south of Corinth. A 39-year-old man who was beating his mother with a metal flashlight was first tased and then shot once by an Alcorn County deputy. When the taser didn't stop him. Hello, I'm Greg Hurst. Stephanie is off tonight. WRG's Mike Sirianni spoke with the badly injured victim who's recovering and able to tell her frightening story.
I've got several staples on top of my head and stitches on my face and up there too somewhere.
Geraldine Lambert, battered and bruised, but thankful to be alive, she says, after her son beat her Saturday afternoon with a metal flashlight in their Alcorn County home. 39-year-old Jason Sakarik would later be shot by a deputy. She recalls her son was acting funny Saturday, she believed under the influence of drugs.
And he had a knife. And
so she got beat with a flashlight. She got beat with the light. All right, let's bring that out. Psalm chapter 3, verse 7.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 3, and verse 7. Arise, O Lord, save me, O my God, for thou hast smitten all my enemies upon the cheekbone. Thou hast broken the teeth of the ungodly.
So, she literally smited on the cheek. And I don't know if them teeth was out beforehand, but they ain't there no more. All right, we're going to keep going. Let's get Psalm chapter 7 and verse 16 on deck. Papa Shaw, Psalm chapter 7 and verse 16. Let's continue.
he cut his finger and there was blood all over, so I thought he cut something else on him.
Geraldine called 911, but recalls a chilling threat her son made.
He said, I'm Satan, and you will die today.
She says before she could get out of the house, he dropped the knife and grabbed a metal flashlight.
And he started hitting me on top of the head, and I tried to block it with my hand.
She says a deputy arrived and came through this side door.
And seeing what he was doing, he tased him. And my son turned around and looked at him and kind of laughed. And kept on and hit me some more, so he shot him.
How many times did he shoot him?
One time in the neck.
One time in the neck. You're telling me an Edomite from Mississippi got shot in the neck? Is that a redneck? Is the Most High laughing in the heavens? A redneck got shot in the neck. Can't make this stuff up. And he said, I'm Satan. He's honest. Like, yo, I'm Satan and you ain't gonna make it, Mom. And he beat Mom with a metal flashlight. Unbelievable. But believable. Let's keep going.
As she looks back, she's relieved the deputy did what was necessary because her son also threatened to harm his sister and father who were at the house.
It helped me because I didn't want to die. But I didn't want my son shot either, but there was no other choice.
Alcorn County Sheriff Ben Caldwell telling
the Most High is great and terrible. Great and terrible. She didn't want to die, but at the same time, she wanted to save his son, but the son was one going to kill her. So either he died or she died. You know what I mean? That is something you got to live with. You know what I mean? But when she was sitting there popping some Pabst Blue Ribbon at the picnic, watching Jake burn, watching him get castrated, it was all fun and games then, right? Leaving church to go to the picnic. It's all fun and games then. Now, when you're getting beat over the head with a metal flashlight by your own son, hocked up off all types of zuzus and wham-whams and uppers and downers and crack. I don't know what the hell they were smoking or meth. You know what I mean? Got tased by the cop, looked at him like, that's all you got? And still kept on beating the mom. This is a judgment, okay? This is what we call judgment, all right? So you might want to just get out the way and allow it to happen. You know what I mean? Sitting there, don't save your prayers for yourself, okay? And your family. Talking about maybe the Edomites can be saved. I don't know about that. All signs point to not at all, okay? Don't get in the way of the Most High's judgment. It's dangerous. All right, so let's bring that out. Psalm chapter 7 and verse 16.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 7, verse 16. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealings shall come down upon his own pate.
Huh. So, you know, you're being mischievous when you're beating your mom over the head with a flashlight, Esau, right? And his violent dealing came down on his own pate. When we look at the word pate, it's the crown of the head. You know what I'm saying? The scalp. Man got shot in the neck. That's all it took. Okay. Let's continue. All right. Let's go to, matter of fact, let's watch this video. Okay. I gotta make sure the music doesn't get in the way, because it's still Fair Use Act, but I'm not messing with Esau and how they like to play. All right. So this is what's happening, right? He said, I am straightened, right? And people are like, oh yeah, he was just high on drugs. Well, that's true and false, right? Because I mean, I'm not saying it's false, but the reality is, a lot of people are experiencing some things for the first time in their life. I'm pretty sure that wasn't the first time her son took drugs. You know what I'm saying? You gotta look at it like that. It's not like somebody slipped him a Mickey or something. This guy has been a druggie his entire life. Okay, so what changed? This video can pretty much articulate that. All right, let's see how it starts. All right. Got the wine and spirits out there. Start it up. All right, so I'm gonna mute it just so the music isn't we don't get any strikes or anything of that nature. So in this movie, right? This is based on a true story, by the way. So the situation occurred where this person committed a heinous act and he went to court for it. And it says that the devil made him do it. And people say that all the time. Well, the devil made me do it. And it's like, okay, whatever. Let's see if the devil make you do that in lockup. All right. When you're in prison for the rest of your life, let's see if he'll visit you. You know what I'm saying? They kind of just dismiss it. But right now he's feeling a little messed up. Look. So he's inebriated, that guy, right? But this is what's happening to Edomites all over the country. All right. They're dancing, having a good time. And the thing that he sees is different than what's happening in reality, because his reality is altered. Not through the alcohol, not through the drugs, even though that can spirits can easily access people through that. But the hedge that was around these Edomites, you know what I mean? Because they had dominion. Let's not get it twisted, Christopher Columbus followed a chariot here to America. All right, this is prophecy. It had to happen. And now the Most High set them up for a dramatic fall. Okay, so I'm going to unmute it. It gets pretty, I don't say pretty graphic, though. If anybody doesn't want to see this, then turn away. But this is the reality. That man is gone.
Hey. Okay there? Hey. You okay? Now you just stay right there, okay? Don't move.
I think I heard someone.
You think? Okay, so with that in mind, it's like, yeah, with that in mind, Esau is dealing with a lot. Okay. Let's get Psalm chapter 34 and verse 21. So he thought he was doing the right thing. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm saving her life. But in reality, gave him strong delusion. Okay. And they're getting things going back on their own head, meaning they're into Ouija boards, soothsaying, conjuring up spirits, all that, tarot cards, they're into all that, right? And now that same energy that they've been putting out, they've been getting prosperous. You know what I'm saying? It talks about the woman in Acts, you know what I mean? She was making money for her master or whatever, you know what I mean? She's following around Paul like, hey, you know, you're the, you know, I know you and all this other stuff. He got that spirit off of her. But it's you know, lucrative in a land of evil and wickedness, you know what I mean? So the things that they've been doing is now it's not helping them anymore, and it's actually hurting them, literally. All right, so let's bring that out. Psalm chapter 34 and verse 21.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 34, and verse 21. Evil shall evil shall slay the wicked, and they that hate the righteous shall be desolate.
So it's evil that's going to slay the wicked. They're the same demons that they conjure up for power and money and horoscopes and what to do next and astrology, all that stuff. You know what I mean? Well, astrology, looking at the stars, is something different than like, oh, Sagittarius is in retrograde, so now is the best time to open my business and stuff like that. Not like, oh, okay, there's a 6 planetary alignment system. You know what I'm saying? There's sunspots. They're blowing northern lights all over the world. It's not that. It's the using that as your prophecies. I get my prophecies from the stars. You know what I mean? So now it's backfiring on them. And as you can see through that movie, which was a true story, bad things are happening. Now let's see what happened in the past week. Esau's getting demolished. Oh, Salakia. Matter of fact, you read verse 22 so we have a full understanding of everything.
Verse 22. The Lord redeemeth the soul of his servants, and none of them that trust in him shall be desolate.
So none of them, all right, that trust in the Most High shall be desolate, shall be guilty, all right? The evil is slaying the wicked, and them that hate righteous, they're guilty, okay? So let's see the next. I believe this is down Virginia. We're going all over the country. Oh, Salakia, still had on mute.
We have new information tonight on what police are calling a heinous triple murder in Virginia. Tuesday night, 3 people were found dead inside of a Spotsylvania County home. Their roommate is the sole suspect and is still on the run tonight. Northern Virginia Bureau reporter Drew Wilder spoke with the family of one of the victims and the grandmother of the suspect, who has an urgent plea for her granddaughter.
The search has intensified for the 23-year-old woman who's charged with murdering her 3 roommates inside this Spotsylvania County home earlier this week. U.S. Marshals now assisting in the search for Alyssa Venable, whose grandmother told me today off camera that she wants her granddaughter to come home and turn herself in. Federal and local law enforcement tonight are searching for Alyssa Venable, who is considered armed and dangerous, on the run with 3 counts of second-degree murder. Neighbors say the 23-year-old had recently moved into this rental home off of Benchmark Road and lived with at least 3 roommates. Tuesday night, the Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office found those 3 roommates killed inside of the home, and tonight we've learned their names. 77-year-old Robert McGuire, 65-year-old Carol Ann Reese, and 60-year-old Greg Powell, whose daughter Rachel shared this picture with News 4. Rachel knew all of the victims, and she says she heard about what happened when her mom called her yesterday.
She's like, your dad was murdered yesterday. And, I was just in shock. I know that I dropped my phone and I'm just like, I have to go. I was in such a panic.
Now on the run, court records show Venable has a recent misdemeanor assault and battery charge. Last month, a 20-year-old woman who worked with Venable at McDonald's filed charges against her. In her complaint, the victim told police that during a shift, Venable threatened me and punched me in the chest. Neighbors think Venable moved into the rental home around the same time as the assault and battery charge. Now, an accused killer on the run, her grandmother telling News 4, quote, "It is horrific. No way to comprehend this. Just as impossible to comprehend for the victims' families."
But I just don't know how somebody gets to that point to do something so evil.
The sheriff's office isn't releasing many details about what exactly happened inside of the home until their suspect is caught and arrested. Reporting in
The devil made her do it. See how that's how you can do something so evil. It was the devil. All right. What's that? Waterboy mother. It was the devil. Okay. Let's go to Micah chapter 2 and verse 1. All right. So right around that time where she's assaulting people at McDonald's, she moves in to a, nice, quaint residence, probably starts seeing things, hearing things, and what she did, she thought she was in the right. Now, I don't know that because she's still on the run. I think she did get caught, and I don't know if the story came out or what she said she saw or did or why she did it. But if the history tells us anything, the devil made her do it. Okay, and that's happened to a lot of Edomites, and it's going to continue to happen. Okay, they don't know if they're going to be on the receiving end of a violent act or going to be the one doing the violent act. So, anybody's guess. It's all up in the air. All right, let's go to Micah chapter 2, verse 1.
This is the book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand.
All right, so this next video, right, is in a very nice slot. Yeah, I don't know why I keep that doing that. In a very nice part of town, if you will. And Man planned it out. Just his plan was just, I mean, come on. Man was not watching any type of Forensic Files or Nightline or anything,
modern food science has literally created that.
But that's all good because we don't need people like this on the streets. Criminals they are. All right. Let's watch this next video.
Testimonies, a lot of prepared statements. Yeah, we heard a lot of testimonies, a lot of prepared statements, and everybody who spoke, Fred, Jacqueline, they kept their composure, except for this man who is now facing a life sentence. He couldn't hold back tears from the minute he started to read his statement to the very end when he apologized to this woman's kids and herself.
Definitely not having to go to trial was definitely a very, I think, beneficial thing.
Bob, Sean, and Corey Bradley left a Montgomery County courtroom today relieved. Their estranged stepfather, Kenneth Shea, pled guilty and apologized for killing their mother.
Very moving, and I felt his apology was sincere, and we do appreciate that. And I mean, it seems like, he's, suffering a loss too, so that's unfortunate, but then it was still a decision he made as well.
Shea was sentenced to life in prison for stabbing Elizabeth Shea to death. Investigators say the estranged couple had documented domestic abuse incidents and were living apart after Mrs. Shea filed a protection order on Shea back in March. It later discovered he went online and searched ways to kill his wife and obtain ownership of their home.
I think this moved quickly. I certainly think the jealousy was a factor here. I think the PFA was a factor here. I think him being evicted from the home was a factor here. But this was a relationship that had turned abusive and was going downhill.
On April 10th, police say the 37-year-old used his Uber account to get a ride from Bensalem to the home in Windmore, where he and Elizabeth once lived. Broke in, stabbed her to death, then Ubered back to a hotel where he was staying under a fake name.
So, it's obviously he did some type of planning. Like, okay, I'm gonna Uber there. I'm not gonna drive, right? I'm gonna use my Uber account to Uber to my estranged wife's house, who ends up being stabbed to death. Then I'm gonna use the same Uber account back to a hotel. But you know what? I'm not going to use my right name in that hotel. That'd throw him off. Esau is dumb as a brick.
Officers were called to the home for a wellness check and found Mrs. Shea dead in her bedroom.
She will truly be missed in our family, and still trying to wrap our heads around it, but we know one day at a time, and she's always watching over us in good spirits, and she would want the best for us. So we just got to make her proud now.
In court today, family noted they never liked Shea for their mom and felt he took advantage of her business, home ownership, but most of all, her kind heart.
She was just absolutely an amazing woman, such a caring person. She showed this in really all aspects of life.
In addition to not being able to keep it together reading that statement, Mr. Shea also broke down when the judge read that he'd be serving life in prison. And in Pennsylvania, that sentence means that he is not able to have parole, forgive me. But the family says that even though this is going to be a sad, long process to grieve the death of their mother, they do feel some gratitude that they got to have closure by hearing his remarks today.
Life. Yeah, you ain't never getting out. Okay. So Esau is serving a life sentence. All right. Let's get Jeremiah chapter 15 and verse 3. And the vexation that the Most High is giving these devils is top notch. You know what I mean? Decimating whole communities. It never happens around here. You see those houses? Never happens around here. Well, it happened, what was that? Let's say in April. And, in that neighborhood is such a, so low crime. See how fast that trial came up, or, that arraignment came up? And before everything happened, he said, I plead guilty. You go into Philadelphia court, you go into Chicago, New York, you accused from a crime, you might not see a judge. Well, like Khalid Browder, he didn't see a judge for like 5 years. You know what I'm saying? But that was pretty quick, speedy, because it doesn't happen there. It's like the one murder they have up there, but it's going to keep on intensifying and keep on happening. You know what I mean? The domestic violence in Esau's house is rampant. Who's raising these Edomites? The question. All right. Let's bring that out. Let's go to Jeremiah 15 and verse 3.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 15, verse 3. And I will appoint over them four kinds, says the Lord. The sword to slay, and the dogs to tear, and the fowls of the heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy.
Con. So the dog to tear. One thing that's been happening in Philadelphia, I don't know if it's been happening in wherever you're at watching this, but dogs have been tearing people up left and right. Okay, men, women, police officers. So now, and in Philadelphia, a lot of those were Jake. And here in LA, the tides were turned. It's a tough video to watch. So if you are not good with the, stomach and all that, might want to mute it. Or if you don't care that Esau is getting destroyed by Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, turn it up. It's up to you.
Oh, praise.
We begin with
God.
that animal shelter worker attacked by a dog. Tonight, she's telling us how she got out alive. NBC4's Robert Kovacic spoke with her, and he's live in our newsroom now. Robert.
Carolyn is still in the hospital and bracing for yet another operation. Leslie Correa tells us she is grateful to everyone at Harbor UCLA Medical Center. She is grateful to Mayor Karen Bass for spending 30 minutes by her bedside. And she is grateful to the Department of LA Animal Services, her LA City family, as she calls them, for keeping her spirits up. The story she shares, and the details are disturbing, comes with a message. Leslie Correa has been with LA Animal Services for more than 2 decades, but tonight from her hospital bed, she says she's never going back.
I've been surrounded by so many wonderful animals my whole life. This has been my whole life. So it's really hard to say goodbye to that.
What you're about to hear for the first time, Leslie's account of what happened at the Harbor Shelter in San Pedro last Friday.
We're extremely short-staffed, and Fridays are a really short-staffed day at the shelter, and all the shelters are overcrowded and we're understaffed.
Early that morning, Leslie, the kennel supervisor, went to care for this dog named Bree, who had previously exhibited signs of FAS, fear, anxiety, stress.
And she went immediately for my leg and started, biting me like crazy. And I'm screaming bloody murder. She jumped up and grabbed my chest near my left breast. I went to shut the door and I fell, and the door didn't completely shut, and she came charging at me again. Grabbed onto my left leg, punctured that, then she went back to my right leg, my thigh. My thigh is half of it's gone. Like the entire top of my thigh is gone from her just biting and biting and biting.
Leslie, a mother and grandmother, says she was losing a 7-minute fight for her life. But then
I looked around, and it was only by the grace of God there was a brick that was laying there. I picked up the brick and started hitting the dog in the head. I think 2 or 3 times the dog let go. The dog wanted to come after me again, and I just held the brick up and started yelling at the dog, "Get away, get away." I pulled my phone out of my pocket. I called 911. That brick saved my life. I would have been dead if there was no brick there. I wouldn't have gotten the dog off of me.
On the eve of...
And I mean, she should be facing animal cruelty charges, I don't think you're allowed to hit a dog with a brick. That dog was just protecting his territory. You look at Michael Vick, he had issues with dogs and he had to go to prison. So I think it is an order that this lady needs to spend some time in lockup, because this is pretty much, she admitted to it on national TV. That poor dog. Let's continue.
Her 4th surgery from this dog attack, Leslie Correa has this to say.
The message here is the city of Los Angeles adopted no kill way too soon. I've been with the department 24 years, and this is the worst it's ever been. There are so many people that have been bit and mauled at the shelters, and it needs to stop because we're overcrowding and we're not euthanizing the animals that need to be euthanized in a timely manner. I don't want this to happen to anybody else. I don't want it to happen to a child. It's very scary.
The dog was euthanized. LA Animal Services sent us a statement that an investigation has been launched, and staff and volunteers are, quote, devastated by the injuries to our coworker and.
Slocky, can you read Jeremiah 15 and verse 3 one more time?
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 15 and verse 3. And I will appoint over them 4 kinds, says the Lord: the sword to slay, the dogs to tear, and the fowls of the heaven, and the beasts of the earth, to devour and destroy.
This happened at the time of King Manasseh, and the way he was going off. Manasseh was going off, right? But now, as we see, this is things are changing. You know, it's happening to them. All right. Let's go to Deuteronomy 30 and verse 7.
Here's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 7. And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thy enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee.
So now they're going to have to get their big payback is occurring. You know what I'm saying? They're getting mauled by dogs, a white dog at that. That was a white dog. That white dog tore that thigh up. I don't think that thing was there anymore. She said, my thigh is it's pretty much gone. Ugh. How do you walk? You ain't got no thigh? Well, you know, and then they killed the dog. I mean, come on. It's a sin. That dog was just doing the dog. The dog was doing what dogs do. He's seen an intruder, saw the spirit coming off of this Edomite, and said, I'm gonna tear this leg up. You know, you walk by dogs, Edomites be walking a dog, they be breaking their neck trying to get to you, like not trying to bite you, but I want to go with you. I want to go with you. They can see that you're a good person. You know what I mean? But the Most High destroyed that Edomite's leg. We want to read that in the GNT. I'll read it. Jeremiah 15 and verse 3. I, the Lord, have decided that 4 terrible things will happen to them. They will be killed in war. Their bodies will be dragged off by dogs. Birds will eat them, and wild animals will devour what is left over. So we're in that process. You know what I mean? You see they getting murdered by the store. The dogs is chewing them up. Maybe next week we'll see something about some birds. You know, the wild beast, the bears done tore up Esau, bit him in his head, broke his hand. You know what I mean? And his neck and everything. That happened. Was it Montana or Wyoming? I'm not sure. All right, but let's continue. Okay, we got a couple more stories we're going to bring out. Let's get Acts chapter 22, verse 17. Couple more stories we're going to bring out. All right, we know tonight, Wednesday, even till Thursday is HOI weekly fast. Okay. Feel free to join in. You know what I'm saying? We pretty much had you know, feast days and stuff on Wednesdays, but now we're good. Okay. First fruit's coming up this Saturday, by the way. All right. As well. Okay, let's bring that out. Acts chapter 22, verse 17.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 22, verse 17. And it came to pass that when I was come again to Jerusalem, even while I prayed in the temple, I was in a trance.
This is Paul speaking. Go ahead.
18. And saw him saying unto me, make haste and get thee quickly out of Jerusalem, for they would not receive thy testimony concerning me.
Con, get out. All right, leave. Okay, and he's gonna say why. Go ahead.
19. And I said, Lord, thy know that I imprison and beat in every synagogue them that believe on thee.
So, but Paul thought he was doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, what are you talking about? We're still gonna be in sacrifice. You talking about this Yahushua? And then, of course, on his way to Damascus, Yahushua blinded him and said, look, man, kicking against the pricks, cut it out. All right. Open up his eyes. Well, close his eyes and then open up his eyes, if that makes sense. Now we'll see what happened. I believe this is Wisconsin. These Edomites were treating the inmates wrong. And now you're going to be in the same spot with the inmates. You can't make this up. You lead them in captivity, you're going in captivity. All right. I think this is Wisconsin. Let me see. Oh my goodness. Crimea River. Yes. No. It's Palestine. Free Palestine. Palestine is free of walls, free of churches, free of mosques, free of infrastructure. Y'all be all right. Okay. Yeah, Wisconsin. And the warden. Can you imagine that? This is how this country it's a place called, I think it's the Stanford Prison Experiment, if I'm not mistaken. It's one of them colleges, one of those Ivy League colleges, where they put a ad in the paper saying we need people to come in for prison experiment. So they separated the two groups, people that came in, some were the inmates, some were the guards. And they had to stop within like a couple of days because the guards were beating up the inmates. And they're like, yo, y'all live in the same dorm together. Y'all eating the same cafeteria. You guys are college students. What are you doing? But that perceived power comes in. Oh, they walk different, talk different, and use their batons. You know, they were beating them college students left and right. So, like I said, perceived power. In this case, the people were treating the inmates terrible. They weren't giving them food. They're going to talk about this, water and all that other stuff. But now the shoe's on the other foot because now you're an inmate. They might have been treating the warden might have been giving the COs hell, but now the COs are over top of you. See how fast things can just transpire? You know what I mean? That's why you're supposed to treat people with respect, because you never know. You may be at the top. You can go straight to the bottom. And people at the bottom go straight to the top. All right. And that's what's happening in the future as far as Jacob and Esau. Let's continue. My bad, y'all. Wind it back.
9 former employees of the Wisconsin Department of Corrections now experiencing life on the other side of the justice system.
One of them, the former warden at Waupun Prison, Randall Hepp, is charged with misconduct in public office and is in custody. The other 8 face charges of inmate abuse, which is a felony.
This all began last June when the Dodge County Sheriff says an inmate died by suicide. 2 more people died in October, one from an overdose, the other from a stroke. The most recent death happened in February, allegedly caused by mistreatment from staff. This was ultimately ruled a homicide.
The sheriff says that that inmate had his water turned off for a significant amount of time, was not monitored, and did not have direct medical care. The inmate, who suffered a stroke, was dead in his cell for 12 hours.
They don't call their inmates, they call them persons within our care. The investigation that we have done has revealed that that phrase does not accurately depict what persons in our care should mean.
Before that news conference, inmates inside Waupun called TMJ4 News to describe conditions inside the maximum security prison.
With their permission, Ben Jordan shares their perspectives in their own words.
We received more than half a dozen calls from inmates we verified are inside the Waupun Correctional Institution. They aren't sharing their names out of safety concerns. They want everyone to know just how they're being treated. describing some of the same conditions Sheriff Dale Schmidt calls infuriating. From the Waupun prison directly to the TMJ4 newsroom. Those locked up inside are reaching out for help.
This is getting ridiculous. People are dying in this institution.
As their voices are nearly drowned out by other inmates yelling in the background.
I got here March 28th this year, and I'm shocked at what's going on here.
Some claim they're under constant lockdowns and forced to live in filth.
Right now for 9 days.
Another inmate's biggest concern, allegations of illegal drugs being circulated.
Whatever you can think of, it's pretty much here.
All in what's supposed to be a maximum security penitentiary.
What they're doing here is cruel and unusual punishment. They are treating us like animals. We don't come out of our rooms. People here suffering from mental health issues. Nothing's being done.
Dodge County Sheriff Dale Schmidt says the oldest prison in the state is being run in a reckless and dangerous manner. He says 4 deaths in 1 year is far too many.
These people were not cared for. And they are people.
One by one, the sheriff went through what he says the criminal investigation uncovered.
Evidence shows that the decedent was dead in his cell at least 12 hours before he was discovered on the morning of October 30th, 2023. I'll say that again. He was dead in his cell for over 12 hours until they located him the next morning.
From allegations of missing cell checks to missing meals.
Correctional officers failed to feed the decedent 9 out of 12 meals over a 4-day period.
Inmates tell us despite their convictions, they are still people who deserve more resources and better living conditions.
Something's got to be done. Something has to be done.
Sheriff Schmidt says the Waupun prison staffing is at just 50%, but he says that's not the only thing that needs to be addressed. He's calling for the whole prison to be shut down, to be renovated or rebuilt, to have up-to-date infrastructure to meet the needs of a maximum security prison. Reporting in Milwaukee, Ben Jordan, TMJ4 News.
And our team continues to sift through the criminal complaint from Dodge County, and we'll have more tonight on TMJ4 News at 10.
Revolutionizing martial arts.
Okay, so there. Okay, and prison, anytime they had to close down a prison and arrest the warden and other guards, that had to be really bad because there's no like good prisons. You know what I'm saying? I know in Philadelphia, a lot of poker is being played in Philadelphia prisons, a lot of shanks, knifing people up and people dying, people got to go to the hospital, and no real oversight. I don't see the sheriff going in there and doing investigations and stuff like that. And I'm sure large cities around the country, same thing. I'm saying, like, oh, it's prison, that's how it's supposed to be. But you can't treat people like that. You know what I'm saying? And then expect them to be decent people when they come out. You treat them like animals in there, and then they come out like, all right, go ahead, find a job, go back to society, so forth and so on. It's not reality, okay? But normally you would never hear anything about this, so see, there's a shift going on right now. And if you listen to the voices on the phone, most of them sound like Jake. They're on the phone. You know what I mean? That sound like our people. So hopefully they can clean that place up, you know what I mean? But and Russian nuclear missiles can tear that place down. If our people can repent, that's in there. All right, let's go to Isaiah chapter 15, chapter 13 and verse 15. I'm gonna play these videos back to back. How the Most High works. Okay, he has war with Amalek from generation to generation. You should not be close to Amalek, meaning like, this is my friend. And you might work for Amalek. You know what I mean? What are you gonna do? We're in captivity. But like, you know what I mean, justifying them. You're hand in hand with Amalek. Israel has a right to exist. You know what I mean? You're out there protesting and marching, waving your little Israeli flag and all that. Might want to think twice about that. Let's see what happened to Fetterman, who came out of Pennsylvania. He really fooled everybody. I mean, not us, because we ain't voting for these Edomites anyway. But he really fooled everybody. Oh, we're gonna change things and everything. He got in there and did absolutely nothing. Did everything that everybody didn't want. Like, you know what I'm saying? So here he is waving his Israeli flag. Let me unmute. Waving his Israeli flag, okay? While at the people are protesting Palestine.
Dave! Dave!
And that's a senator, by the way. And he didn't just come from the gym. That's how he always dresses, in like a hoodie and shorts to work. You know what I'm saying? And people are like, oh man, he's like one of us, man. Look, he dresses with the shorts and the hoodies and everything. Man, listen, he got that bag and he went straight to falling within party lines. You know what I'm saying? But let's see what the Most High did to him.
You do a disservice to Pennsylvania.
Tired of typing tons of notes during.
Oh my goodness. How many commercials can they fit in one? All right, here we go.
I just hit record.
We have confirmed from both Fetterman's office and also Maryland State Police that crash happened yesterday morning right on Interstate 70 in Western Maryland. Maryland State Police tell us two vehicles were traveling westbound on Interstate 70 when, for an unknown reason, the car that was driven by the senator rear-ended another car. Fetterman was...
For an unknown reason, I'm going to say is Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Let's keep going.
Treated for a bruised shoulder at the hospital, but was released. His wife, Giselle, is said to be okay. The driver of that other car was also taken to the hospital. And in a statement from his office today, the senator's office, it reads in part that the two are doing well and happy to be back in Braddock. And police tell us no citations were issued after that crash. I-70 is a route you can take to get from the Pittsburgh area to the U.S. Capitol.
So he ran into somebody. They ain't even giving no citation or nothing. Then check his meth, his meth induced blood. All right. The vodka on his breath, none of that, right? But he's a senator. Let's get Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 15. Opashaw.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 13, verse 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through. Everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword.
So if he wants to be joined unto the Revelation 29ers, Amalek, hanging out underneath the synagogues and the tunnels, if he wants to do that, then the Most High is going to cause some car accidents, maybe even a lightning strike. Who knows? Maybe even a sinkhole. Most High has all types of ways to get at people. You know what I mean? This man was very deceptive in his political ambitions. He's like, oh, I'm from Braddock. It's crazy here. One of the young bulls got killed up here when I was, when he was only 15 years old. I said, I'm going to change things and da-da-da. He didn't do none of that. You know what I mean? He immediately turned coats. Somebody dropped off a duffel bag and he went immediately into the arms of, I mean, he's an oppressor too, but you know what I'm talking about, immediately into the arms of Amalek and those type folks. All right, so we're going to get one more video. And I like this one. Okay. Let me mute it because I know it's going to be another commercial. But I like this video. It is. Oh, okay. Nice. No commercials. It lets you know. We did a class where we seen that it was Esau with a 18-wheeler going to Mexico to get 50-some pounds of cocaine and pounds of methamphetamine and bring it over the border and sell it. They're drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? So, let's get Proverbs 24:19. We might be looking on the other side of the tracks and saying, man, I wish I lived in a house that looked like that. Man, I wish I drove a car that looked like that. You know what I mean? Like they must have it all. They're criminals. Criminals. First and foremost, everybody, they all trespassing. Shouldn't be on this land. It's stolen land. It starts there and then it goes further. You might have an 18-wheeler and bringing in drugs from Mexico, or you might be like this couple. Was it it's a movie, I think it's like Fun with Dick and Jane with Jim Carrey, and there's Robin Banks and doing all that. Esau is a stone cold criminal. Always has been, always will be. All right, it's a show on Netflix, How to Rob a Bank. It talks about Esau, how he got his friends and everything. He's walking around naked in the woods, which is totally off, you know what I mean? But this guy is just robbing banks all the time. You know what I mean? This is what they do. All right. So we cannot be shocked or surprised. It's not isolated incidents. Okay, so let's watch this video.
New at noon, an update to a case that we've been following since last month. Thank you for joining us. I'm Bill Young.
And I'm Liz Ortiz. A Raleigh firefighter and his wife are now facing additional charges regarding drug trafficking. CBS 17's Bria Hollingsworth is live in Raleigh from the couple's home with what law enforcement agents found. Bria.
Yeah, Belez, new warrants show that law enforcement agents found additional drugs and cash hidden inside the vents in that couple's home. Nicholas and Amanda Bannister facing additional drug trafficking charges after alcohol law enforcement found cash and drugs inside their Raleigh home. It was back on May 15th when investigators searched their home after receiving tips in April regarding drugs being sold in and around ABC permitted businesses in the Glenwood South and downtown Raleigh areas. Court documents say in an initial search, investigators found $69,000 in cash along with a laundry list of drugs that included marijuana, mushrooms, DMT, and LSD. Investigators say 3 days later, they received a tip about an HVAC repair at the Bannisters' home. Investigators searched the home a second time, finding over $144,000 in cash.
Whoa. How much cash? How much cash did they find?
Finding over $144,000 in cash.
How come it's not 143? How come it's not 146? The Most High is amazing. Okay? Just keep that in mind. $144,000 they found in the vent. You know what I mean? 12,000 for all the tribes of Israel. That number just keeps popping up wherever you look. All right. That lets you know that we're almost home. Okay. Esau, kingpin Edomites that drive Hondas are on their way to, this isn't like, their bail's like $4 million. They're not just going to go to county. This is upstate types time. You know what I mean? This is drug trafficking. So while Esau is going to be washing his underwear in the toilet and putting his milks in the toilet to stay cold and, getting his commissary stolen because, he ain't doing nothing in prison. You know what I'm saying? He ain't holding nothing down in prison. We're going to be on our way home soon. So we just got to stay focused. And, that's why I call this wisdom wake-up call. Let's wake up. Let's keep in mind, nothing is, if it's not important now, it's definitely not going to be important in the kingdom. All right. What's important is following these law, statutes, commandments and praying to the Most High and fasting, you know what I'm saying? And just staying focused in these last days. Let's keep going.
Marijuana brownies and 950 tabs of LSD.
He's done. They're done.
Now, the Bannisters each received a $4 million bond. If convicted, they could face up to 200 years in prison for the previous drug charges filed against them. In Raleigh, Brea Hollingsworth, CBS 17 News.
All right, Brea, thank you for that update.
Yes, Brea, thank you for that update. 200 years. You die, they're going to have to bring you back, and you're going to have to go back to prison. You're never leaving. You got to get comfortable, get to know everybody, try not to get beat up and stabbed your first day. Oh, Esau. Silly Edomites. You really thought God wasn't paying attention, or God wasn't listening to the cries of his chosen, or that you would be able to do whatever you want you'll be able to do whatever you want forever. But time's up. All right. So with that is the lesson. This is the wisdom wake-up call. Hopefully you learned a few things, edified even, you know what I'm saying, about the destruction of the Edomites, how we don't want nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? Don't want to spend 200 years in no prison. Don't, you know what I mean? Don't want to see Eve walk up with a knife in the middle of a grocery store, There's a lot of things that's going on with these Edomites, getting knifed in their own house. A lot of things going on with these Edomites, all right? We got to stay focused. We got to treat each other better, all right? Let's pretend that God's watching. Just pretend, okay? And act accordingly, all right? So with that, let's close out in prayer. Anybody has anything they want to bring out, now will be the time.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Beautiful lesson again, King. Wednesday wake-up call.
All praise to the Most High.
Yeah, that's, man. Throw them videos out. Wow. God. Wow. Yeah, all praises, family. All praises. We live on YouTube, and we also have it on the Zoom. So once again, Wednesday wake-up call from Chaasadyah, HOI Philly in the building. We keep at it. Beautiful class again, King. And tomorrow we also have, for the Thursday class, we have Elder Torah. It's going to be for the Thursday class.
Nice.
Brother from Tuesday did a hell of a job, as well as the doc from Milwaukee. So Chaasadyah be holding the Wednesday class all throughout the month. So Wednesday wake-up call. And beautiful job again, King.
All praise to the Most High, the water.
And yeah, one more thing. Feast of Pentecost. Reminder everybody, it'll be this Saturday, June 15th. Saturday evening, Saturday sundown, June 15th. And those that haven't got their stuff ready for 4th of July, get what you need, because time is winding down. So other than that, call me Shalom.
Shalom. All praises. All right. So we're going to stand and face the east, prostrate and face the east. However you want to pray, just face the east. And I'll give you a couple minutes, and we will close out in prayer. This is the Lord's Prayer in Paleo Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakbaka, Daba'ah, Ratazayaka, Hayah, Aisha, Baratazah, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nadananawa, Lachon, How, Yawom, Wasalafnawa, Kabawafnawa, Kasalafnawa, Kabawafinawa, Wala'a, Dabinawa, Banasai 1, Abal, Hawashainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwaf, Wa Allah, wa ta'ala raf, la walimnam. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 9. After this manner, therefore pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Yeah, and all praises, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bashem Mashiach Yahushai. Thank you for staying on. And let's keep praying to the Most High. You know what I mean? Here's our prayers. We see what happened in ancient Egypt. He heard the prayers of the Israelites and got Moses and Aaron in order. Boom. You know what I mean? And took down Egypt. Systematically took it down. You know what I'm saying? He said, boom, we're gonna give Egypt plagues just like before. You know what I mean? And as things happening right now, there's flying spiders that are venomous. You know what I'm saying? You got the crickets over there, the Mormon crickets over there in Vegas. It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. So let's continue to and there's a STD that's in New York is spreading. Really they said it's not spreading too much, but then they said it is. So you already know Esau's lying. Right around time for Pride Week or Pride Month or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? For the homosexual community. And it's a ringworm fungus. It's a fungus. It's not a bacterial infection, it's a fungus infection. And it's ringworms, and it's all over people's bodies. And you know what I mean? Last year, monkeypox. Now, some ringworm fungus. God is plaguing this place. They got H1N1. Now they got H1N2. You know, and I think it has like 100% kill rate, jumping from mice. Mice end up getting H1N1 in New Mexico. So, I mean, I can go on all night long. It's pestilence, it's wars, it's Russians' nuclear submarines down there by Cuba. It's time to get in order, all right? You're looking for a sign, let this be it. Repent and keep the commandments, all right? And fear God. Kum Yashala.
Kum Yashala.
It's for the brothers, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatham.
Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatham.
Sisters, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Shemarathon.
Yahweh Shem Yahshua Shemarathon.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, family.
Good.
Shalom, family.
Hi.
Hi.
All praises.